This morning on Today's Money, new ways to think about your IRAs. Mitt Romney has gotten some attention recently for holding as much as $100 million in his individual retirement account, and it includes many alternative investments. So could these be right for you? Well, we've got today financial editor Jean Chaskey here to help sort this out for us. Hey, Jean, good morning. Well, we're really getting a window in how the very wealthy are using their money by looking at a candidate like Mitt Romney.
And the not so very wealthy. I mean, one of the things that we've seen over the past couple of years as the stock market has fallen out of favor with a lot of people is people looking for different things to put in their retirement accounts. And one of the nice things about IRAs is you can put almost anything in there except for life insurance and collectibles like art and antiques.
For example?
For example, horses, cattle, limited partnerships, things that, stocks that aren't even traded, and real estate. A lot of people are putting real estate in, but you have to understand if you want to go with one of these alternative asset IRAs, you can't do it typically at a regular bank or brokerage account. You need a provider that is set up to deal with these assets, and it's going to cost you a little more. The management fees typically start at several $100s a year, not a few dollars a year.
And don't you have to have somebody to actually manage them? I mean, that's what you're inferring here, that there's going to have to be a person designated to manage your fund?
Well, you're going to want a company that specializes in managing them. There's an association called the Retirement Trust Industry Association of these sorts of IRA custodians, so they can point you in the right direction.
So when does it make sense to go to something that is as alternative as this alternative IRA?
Well, if you have an asset that you think is going to have explosive growth, it might make sense to look at something like this. One of the benefits of IRAs, all IRAs, is that the assets in the account grow tax deferred until you have to pull them out at age 70 and a half, or if you're looking at a Roth IRA, they grow tax deferred forever because you pay the taxes up front. So that can be hugely beneficial, but there are some hitches as well. You got to be careful in these accounts of what we call self-dealing, which basically means you can derive no benefit from your IRA until you actually pull the investment out. And I think the easiest way to think about this is if you bought a vacation property and you put it in your IRA, you could not live there, you could not stay there, your family can't stay there. The proceeds that you get from renting that property out has to go right back to the IRA. And even if you were to need to fix the roof on this vacation place, you can't do it yourself because the the government may actually look at that and say, hey, that represents a contribution of more than $5,000 a year. And in that case, the whole transaction, the whole account, and all of its tax benefits fall apart.
So then, so are you saying? I mean, I'm hearing two things. I mean, the point you just made just made me think there's no way I'm going to want to put a house in my IRA, right?
Well,
and maybe in the olden days when the house prices would go up pretty steadily, we felt pretty comfortable. But let's take that example. Would you put a house? How would you put a house, for example, in your IRA today?
If you were looking at a distressed property, let's say you've got an IRA someplace else or a 401k, you want to roll it over, you want to use the money to buy one of these distressed properties, the key is finding one of these alternative IRA custodians who can actually take you through the process and make sure that you don't mess it up. And if you want to do this several times, if you want the vacation property and the horses and the cattle, separate IRAs, because if you mess one up, you don't mess them all up.
Really interesting, Jean Chaskey. I think this is information most of us had no idea about. Thank you so much this morning. And coming up next.